Welcome to episode 8 of Two Bros, One Pod. Today, we will continue our fantasy rankings. Last week, we did tight end. Today, we're going to do a different position. Shall we get into it, Jay?
Let's do it.
Let's get it going. What's up, Jay? How you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. Like I said, last week we did tight ends. This week, we're moving on to a different position. Arguably my favorite position for different reasons. But, there's a reason why we have these jerseys on. Last week, we didn't have any tight end jerseys or shirts. So we had to go a different route. But as promised, we are back with our football jerseys. Today, you have a special one. I have, for me, my GOAT, Patrick Mahomes. So for those of you that haven't gotten the gist yet, we are doing quarterback rankings today. Okay. Before we get into that, Jay, you want to tell us a little something about that jersey you got on?
Of course. So my jersey had a little accident, so it is currently being washed. So I'm gonna have to show it off for you guys next week. So as of right now, since I can't have a real quarterback jersey on, why not go with the next best thing? The most legendary quarterback that is not real. If you guys never seen this movie, Falco, all right, from the movie The Replacements. So I bought this because the team that we play for flag football, our color is red. And so I was like, you know what, this would be an awesome jersey to have. So I ended up buying it. And then, since this thing happened like last minute, I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out. So I was like, perfect. I could definitely wear this one. So that's why I have this one on.
It worked out. Listen, it worked out. You know what it is? Like he just said, it's the best quarterback to never really exist. We're doing a top 15. What jersey number does he have? 16. So
16.
If we're doing a top 16, he'd probably be 16. But we're doing top 15. He doesn't make the cut. I'm sorry. But it's a great movie, man. For those of you that haven't watched it, I recommend. It's on Netflix right now. I just watched it the other day.
Really?
So for those of you that have never watched it, take some time out of your day, watch it on Netflix. You won't regret it. It's a really good movie.
Starring Keanu Reeves,
Mr. John Wick himself.
Exactly.
But that was just a little something for our jerseys. Like I said, like we said last week, we're going back to it next week. Depending on the position, we will wear the jersey. But you know what? Enough of that. You want to just get straight into the fantasy rankings?
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, I'm excited for this one.
I'm excited for this one as well. Yep. Quarterback rankings. Okay. Quarterbacks in a way is easier. And what I mean by that is like it's not as deep as a pool as like another position like tight end, wide receiver, running back. So in a way it was easier to narrow it
down.
For
me.
It was easier for me to narrow it down to 15 names. I would say my top 12 was easy. I was like, these names are definitely in.
Yeah.
The last three was hard. I don't know about you, like how it went for you.
No, for me, I thought it was easier ranking the tight ends than the quarterbacks. Yeah. Okay. For me, it was the top 7, I think was pretty easy. But then after that, I was like, okay, this guy could be 8, but he could also be 11.
Oh, no. If we're talking positioning, yes, that was hard. I'm saying names, like the names.
Oh, names wise. Name wise, I think like top 12 was probably.
Top 12 for me. I was like, okay, these are definitely the top 12. Yeah. And then I was like, ooh, the last 3. And then positioning, positioning was a little rough for me. I went back and forth all week. I was like, no, I gotta move this guy, and then I gotta move this guy. And listen, we'll get to it right now. We're gonna do the same thing that we did last week. Okay, we're gonna start 15 to 11. Each of us go, then we go 10 to 6, and we finish our top 5. But let's just get straight into it. You want to start us off with 15 to 11?
Yeah, for sure. So at 15, I don't know where you have them. Hopefully, last week we only had one player in the top 15 that we had them in the same position. So I have a feeling, looking at my top 15, I don't think we might not have a single one.
We're about to find out. Find out.
At 15, I have Matt Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do think he's in a better team, right? Obviously, going from the Falcons, who didn't really have anybody else besides Cordell Patterson and Pitts, who was just coming into his own, right? Just, his rookie year. Yeah. Other than that, he didn't really have anybody else. So now you leave that team and you go over to an Indianapolis Colts team that has an amazing defense. You have the number 1 running back. And you have a nice wide receiver core, pretty much led by Pittman, right? So last season, in when he was playing for the Falcons, he had 20 passing touchdowns and he had a little bit less than 4,000 passing yards. Okay, so I think that increases, both of those numbers increase. Um, so looking at Wentz when he was with the Colts, he had 27 passing touchdowns, 215 rushing yards, and a little bit over 3,500 passing yards.
Okay.
Now, although I don't think Matt Ryan could match the rushing yards that
No,
Wentz had,
I don't think so either.
but I do think he'll be able to make up those points with the passing yards and with the touchdown passes.
Touchdowns. Agreed.
So that's why I have him at 15. At number 14, you're gonna be surprised. Lamar Jackson. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, we starting off hot.
Oh
We
yeah.
starting off hot today. Jesus.
At number 14, I got Lamar. So last season he only had 16 passing touchdowns. That's it. 16, literally one per game if you if you really think about it.
Right.
And he had 2,880 passing yards as well last season. However, he did rush for 767 yards, which is
No surprise.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I see him rushing over 1,000 yards just
Okay.
because you just lost Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay, you just lost Hollywood. All you have is Bateman and Mark Andrews, right? You got a good group of running backs, but it's like none of them really want to take the lead. It's like whether it has to do with injuries or just inconsistency. There's nobody stepping up.
Yeah,
So
fair.
obviously that means Lamar is going to be running the ball. And again, since he has less people to throw to, he's just going to go ahead and pretty much have his first option be the run game. And then after that, if he could just keep extending the play, probably throw it to somebody. So yeah, I see him, even though he has less wide receivers, and Mark Andrews is a huge touchdown hog. I see him having around the same touchdowns as last season. Probably
Really?
17, 18. Yeah. I don't
Okay.
see him doing much more. I feel like his fantasy points will come through his legs, him
Yeah.
just rushing. So that's just me, but I feel like the rushing alone is not gonna make up for a lot of these things. And so that's why I have him at 14. At 13, you ready?
I don't know. At this point, I don't know anymore.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. I can understand that. Yeah.
At 13, I have Aaron Rodgers. So again, last season he had 37 passing touchdowns. He was a little bit over 4,100 passing yards.
Mhm.
I think they both go down. Obviously, no Devontae Adams. Okay. Right now, there's like a little rumor going around that Julio Jones might be going to Green Bay. However, when you compare Julio Jones and Devontae Adams, I feel like there's really no comparison there. Devontae Adams is still in his prime. Julio wasn't really there the past 2-3 seasons. So I feel like it will still be a downgrade.
Yeah.
So I have him being number 13 in my ranking. At number 12. Actually, I was debating between 13 and 12. Like
Okay.
I had Rodgers at 12, but then I was like, you know what? Let me really dig deep into this other player. And I ended up swapping them. So
Okay.
at number 12, I have Kirk Cousins. All right. I have Kirk Cousins here. He had 33 passing touchdowns last year, and he had 4,200 passing yards as well.
Okay.
I feel like Justin Jefferson is gonna go to a whole different level. And this is going to help Kirk Cousins yardage go up as well as the passing touchdowns. It seems like, I forgot where I read it, but apparently they're gonna try to have the Vikings be a little bit more pass heavy. Why? I guess to kind of save Dalvin Cook's legs a bit, which completely understandable.
Absolutely.
I agree with it, especially with the wide receiver cores that you guys have. I think that's a really good idea.
Agreed.
So I have him at number 12. And number 11, the actual GOAT, which I hate to say, Tom Brady.
right.
Last year he had 43 passing touchdowns. He had a lot of passing yards. He had 5,300 passing yards. However, I do think both drop. Obviously, no Gronk, no AB. You do get Russell Gage, but let's be honest, Russell Gage is no AB, right? And Braid is not really a Gronk, so that'll definitely dip there as well. However, I feel like I have him here as number 11, right outside my top 10, because that he just has a chip on his shoulder. I feel like he was 100% going to retire. He was just going to move on with his life. And there was something in him that was like, I could have done something better. I know I could have been in the Rams. I know I could go out there, and if I have one more opportunity at this, I'll be able to beat these guys. So I feel like that's going to be constantly in the back of his mind. And somehow, whenever he gets like that, like when he's pissed off, that's when he plays the best. So yes, he's not a top 10 for me, but he's like right there. So that's why I have him at 11.
Right on the edge.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you this. You're off to a hot start. All right. The biggest shock for me.
I am not afraid.
Listen, the biggest shock to me there was definitely Lamar. Like,
I
I'm
bet.
not big on him this season either, but 14?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
wow. That got me. That one got me. I'll say that. But hey, you know what? We do have a couple similarities.
Okay.
And we'll get to that in a bit. Okay. Let me start off with number 15. This will definitely shock you. Trey Lance.
Okay.
Trey Lance is at 15 for me
Okay.
for a few reasons. One, before I start, I know we haven't really seen anything from him. Okay. Like, the only thing we've seen is, he's good with his
Are
legs.
we sure he's going to start?
It seems like it. I know a lot of people are saying, well, why haven't they traded Jimmy G? Are they really going to start him? Maybe Trey Lance sucks. That's why they haven't traded Jimmy G.
Honestly, I think Jimmy G starts, and then this is like, how we've seen in previous seasons where like the rookie quarterback comes in and takes over like after their bye week or after the 4th week. I think that's what's going to happen this time around.
I think Jimmy G just gone.
Okay.
Point is, I'm pretending Trey Lance is starting.
Okay.
Okay. If Trey Lance starts, I got him at 15 for a few reasons. Again, we really haven't seen anything from him. I know we've only seen him being able to run some decent throws, but nothing like a full game, basically. But he has George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Shanahan as his coach, a phenomenal defense.
Yeah.
This kid, and he has the legs to extend plays. This kid
True.
could really go out there, and I'm not going to say he's going to be the next Lamar Jackson, the next star out of nowhere, but I think he could crack the top 15. Now, if he doesn't, it also wouldn't shock me. But
yeah,
I had to play the potential card. I had to put him there. I didn't want to go higher. I had him just at 15.
Yeah.
At 14, the reason why it's going to be a shock is because I personally don't rate him. I don't think he's that good.
Okay.
But the pieces that they just put around him, you can't ignore it. I got Tua. I'm not even going to say that.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, I got Tua at 14. Okay. Tyreek Hill.
Interesting.
That's the reason why he's at 14. Tyreek Hill. Like, I'm not going to go more.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like, you're bringing in a wide receiver, but that's not going to make you be more accurate or throw better.
But we're not talking
or have
about
better
that.
vision.
We're talking about fantasy points, baby. And fantasy points, all he needs to do is throw a 5-yard pass to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill could take it 80 yards for a touchdown. That also counts for Tua. It's going to count as a 90-yard throw, 85-yard throw, and a touchdown for Tua. But looking at Tua's numbers, right? Last season, he wasn't that great last season. Okay. He only threw for 2,653 yards.
Okay.
16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. With Tyreek Hill, I very easily see him hitting 3,300 yards.
Okay.
Maybe 20 touchdowns plus because it's Tyreek Hill. Like, literally, now I'm not saying that Tua's going to hit a 50-yard bomb over 2 defenders. And no, I'm talking about like Tua's going to be like, hike, and Tyreek's touchdown. So I think because of Tyreek, Tua elevates. Not to a crazy level for me, because if it was up to me, if Tyreek wasn't there, he would definitely not be in the top 15. Yeah. But just because the Tyreek effect, he's there. And not to mention, if we're talking about strength of schedule, he has one of the easiest schedules for a quarterback. They rank it out of 5 stars, 1 being the easiest, 5 being the hardest strength of schedule. He's at a 2-star. He has such an easy schedule. And then you add in Tyreek Hill plus Jalen Waddle on the other side, Mike Gesicki down the middle. Listen, I don't think Tua is a big thing. I really don't. But just those names are going to help you. At 13, a guy that I've always liked, and I feel like he's underrated. And I think this season will be the season to really show people, are you underrated or are you right where people say you are? Derek Carr.
Oh.
Derek Carr's at 13 for me.
Okay. Interesting.
Kind of like Tua.
Isn't that crazy? Your number 13 is Derek Carr and my number 13 is Aaron Rodgers.
Listen, Devontae Adams effect. Devontae Adams, obviously, as you mentioned, left Green Bay. It hurts the Packers. It hurts Aaron Rodgers, but it helps Derek Carr. Yeah. It helps him. Derek Carr already had a good pieces. Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, a really good defense. Now you throw in Devontae Adams and you throw in Josh McDaniels, who, yes, I know was a flop with the Broncos, but he's an offensive-minded guy. And that defense is pretty stable. They can hold it down. But Devontae Adams, you know how creative you could get? Yeah. Devontae Adams probably the cleanest route runner. Hunter Renfrow, literally somebody that nobody worries about, but he's always open in the slot. And Darren Waller, an unguardable tight end. Their creativity is about to go through the roof.
Yep.
So I like Derek Carr. You know, he threw for 4,800 yards last season.
Yep.
I think he easily goes over 5,000 with Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Okay. 23 touchdowns. I could see him hitting close to 30. I don't know if he hits 30, but he gets close to 30. Okay. But yeah, Derek Carr 13. I want him to prove everybody wrong. I think he's underrated. Do I think he's top 10 quarterback in the league? No. I do think he's underrated. So I would hope he proves everybody wrong.
Okay.
Number 12. I love this man, but I hate having him so low, but I just have to. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Arguably the most talented quarterback I've seen aside from this man right here. The things he could do with a ball is just, it's insane. This man, ever since I started watching football, has been great, and he still is, you know. But it just sucks, man. No Devontae Adams. He wasn't a big piece, this guy, but they also lost MVS. So now it's just Alan Lazard, Robert Tonyan, Aaron Jones, and AJ Dillon. Great backfield.
Yeah.
But like,
that's true.
At the end of the day, though, I still think Rodgers, unfortunately, falls outside my top 10. Love the guy, but it is what it is. I'm not going to go too in depth. He already gave us the stats and all that, and he's going to drop everywhere statistically.
Yeah.
At number 11, I have somebody that I wish I would flip with my 10, but at the end of the day, I can't. Okay. At number 11, I have Matthew Stafford.
Oh,
I think that's low.
You have him at number 11?
Yes. I'll explain myself. I think that's low. When I looked through this list, I thought it was low, but I just can't put him over the other 10. I would say I can't put him over the other 9 because him and my number 10, I was debating really hard on, but at the end of the day, I had to put him at 11. I'll tell you why.
Oh, you're crazy for that.
I'll tell you why. Matthew Stafford threw for almost 4,900 yards, 4,886. Almost half of that was Cooper Kupp. Let's keep that in mind. Yes, I'm not saying that he was a Tua, but there was a couple times.
Okay, go on.
There was a couple times he threw a little short pass to Cooper, and Kupp just took it all the way, or at least close to the end zone, like 80 yards, right? So having Cooper Kupp definitely helped him, and I know he has him again, right? But they did lose Robert Woods. They so far did lose OBJ. Yes, they picked up Allen Robinson, who's great, but Matthew Stafford at the end of last season was slacking due to injuries, due to trying to force the ball a little too much. And that's the Matthew Stafford that has been criticized before, you know, trying to do too much and trying to play through injury, which is great. You know, you want to see that, like, oh, what a brave guy. He's playing through injury, but at the same time, you're old. Let's save yourself. If your guys are clinching playoffs and you're hurt, take a seat. We need you in the playoffs. You know what I mean? There's a few times in the playoffs where they almost lost the game because of Matthew Stafford.
Right.
Okay. I love the guy. Always loved him when he was in Detroit. As everybody knows by now, I have a soft spot for Detroit. So I always liked him. But I just feel like this season, I'm not going to say he's going to decline like crazy, but I just don't think he can hold it up. Last season, he was QB 5.
Yeah.
Which is great. I don't think he does that again. That's me. I don't think he does it again. I would love for him to do it. If he does it, I'll gladly take that on the chin. I would gladly be happy that I was wrong about Matthew Stafford 11. But right now, I got to put him at 11. Because like I said, when I look at my list, I would say the top 9 for sure. I don't see him passing any of them. Number 10, maybe. But I just had to go with 10 there. But
that's so crazy. I think that's more crazier than me putting Lamar.
Absolutely not. Lamar at 14 is ridiculous in my opinion. But
Stafford.
Hey, listen. Let's let our viewers decide. What do you guys think? What do you think is crazier? Lamar at 14, Stafford at 11, and maybe they'll get a better, I guess you could say, a better opinion after they hear our top 10, which we could get to right now. Do you want to tell us your number 10 to 6?
Yeah. So at number 10, I have Derek Carr. Now, you pretty much already said it all. You know, he had 23 passing touchdowns and he had a little bit over, 4,800 yards.
Yeah.
I see with Devontae Adams there now over 30 passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
And I see the 4,800 yards going above 5,000. I see him going over 5,000 yards.
Because of Devontae Adams.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. All right. And not just that, but since you're going to have more players, that defense is going to be focusing more on him, that's going to open up the field more for Renfrow, who, when he had the ball, he was great. He was getting yards after catch like there was no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you have Waller, who is also fantastic.
And he was hurt last season. So hopefully if Waller stays healthy this season.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel I have him at number 10. I think all of that goes up. There's just going to be way more opportunities for him and for the whole offense. So I have him at number 10. At number 9, I hate this team. I respect this guy. I respect him a lot.
I think I know who you got.
Dak Prescott.
Yep. Okay.
I have him at number 9. So he had 4,450 passing yards and he had 37 passing touchdowns. Those are great numbers. Yeah. All right. However, those numbers will decrease. Obviously, no Amari Cooper. You have a Gallup who is injured, who might not even start the season.
Yep.
Okay. So he might struggle in the beginning. However, I do see him stepping up a little bit more as the season starts going on. He had 146 rushing yards. I feel like I see him going over 200 rushing yards. Okay. Yeah. It wouldn't be that many, that much difference in fantasy points. It'll only be like 5 more points if you really think about it. But everything else will decrease. However, the touchdowns though, I feel like although they will decrease, not by that much. I do think he'll still get over 30 just because you still got Schultz at tight end. You have CeeDee Lamb. By then you'll have Gallup back. You have 2 capable running backs who, when you combine both of them in the same game, it's like fireworks.
Yeah.
Just as long as they stay healthy, especially Zeke.
Especially like Zeke.
Yeah. I feel like that'll be good for him. But that's why I have him at 9. At number 8, I have Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have Russell Wilson at number 8. He had 20. Yeah, last year with the Seahawks, he had 25 passing touchdowns and he had 3,100 passing yards. Okay, that was last season with the Seahawks. Now, I think he increases those numbers. Why? All right, so you have Melvin Gordon, who I feel like he's gonna stay for one reason and one reason only. Obviously, that's Russ. I feel like he's gonna be that pass catcher, coming out of the backfield. And I think that's going to be great for him because you're going to have the bruiser in Javonte Williams, who's going to be killing it as well. Again, none of them are really injury prone. Gordon has had his some episodes. Yeah, his moments of getting injured. But I feel like right now he's healthy. And I feel like he's going to be motivated to play with Russ.
I would say not only that, just real quick, even though he has gotten hurt, it hasn't been anything long term. It's been like 1-2 weeks max and then he's back.
Yeah.
So
I see that working out for Russell really well. I see him getting over 40 passing touchdowns from his 25 from last season. Why? Because you have 3 amazing wide receivers. Yeah, you had Metcalf, who was pretty much elite speed, elite body, right? But he was a bit inconsistent. And then you had a Lockett, who, even though he has great hands, his age, wasn't really there. It's really playing against him. But now you have 3 really good wide receivers in Jerry Jeudy, in Courtland Sutton, and in Tim Patrick, who I think is amazing. All 3. Right now, you combine that with the running backs, and I think it's going to be phenomenal for him. So I think he increases a lot from last season, and so that's why I have him at number 8. At number 7, as much as I hate to say this, at number 7, I love this guy. He is very quickly becoming one of my favorite quarterbacks.
No,
I have Joe Burrow.
What?
Yeah, I have Joe Burrow at number 7.
All right.
He had over 4,600 passing yards, right? And he had 34 passing touchdowns from last season. I feel like those passing yards could decrease a little bit, just because I feel like they might try to lock down Jamar Chase pretty much. Like, let's be real, Jamar Chase was unstoppable last season. But just like what you were saying to Stafford, I feel like that might happen to Burrow a little bit more, because they're going to try to lock him down. However, he did have his completion is 70%, which is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So I feel like even though Chase might be locked down a little bit and his numbers will decrease, obviously he'll be able to look somewhere else with Boyd and with Higgins, and then obviously with Mixon in the back. So I have him at number 7 for that reason. And then at number 6, you ready for this?
I don't think so, but go ahead.
Patty Mahomes.
That's disrespectful. That is so disrespectful. I can't believe
Patrick Mahomes at number 6. He is not in my top 5. Why? No Tyreek Hill. That's number 1. That's the biggest thing. Okay. Number two, some inconsistency last season. He has shown his weaknesses to defense. And so I feel like that will continue this season. Why? I feel like it's gonna take a while for him to really get some good chemistry with Juju and with MVS. Yes, that's already with Kelsey, but then you got a CEH in the back who's not really that great. You know what I mean? And so I feel like he's gonna be struggling a lot. He's gonna be scrambling for his life, extending plays. But I don't see him. I mean, yeah, his creative mind will definitely help him out, but I feel like they're definitely gonna struggle. I feel like he'll get less. You ready for this? He had 38 passing touchdowns in 2020, and he had 37 passing touchdowns in 2001. I feel like he's gonna get less than 35 this upcoming season. Yeah. And I don't think he gets more than 4,500 yards either, passing yards. So even though for his level, that's like, very below his level. However, I still think it's gonna be good enough for him to be 6.
Two shocks, let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
Let me start with mine. Number 10, Tom Brady. Okay. He was the one I was debating with Matthew Stafford. I really wanted to drop Tom Brady to 11. I wanted to put Stafford at 10, but at the end, I put Brady at 10 just because I know he lost Gronk. I know he lost Bruce Arians, which many people are like, what? But at the same time, it could be a blessing because apparently they really didn't like each other.
Yeah.
I know he lost AB, but AB, because of off the field stuff, was also inconsistent. There was games where when he was there, most of the times that he was there, he was great, but he wasn't there often.
Right.
Okay. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, probably top 5 duos in the league. Ridiculous hands. I know Chris Godwin's still recovering from an ACL, but when he's back, it's over. Yep. Russell Gage is a really good pickup at number 3. He has a great running back in Leonard Fournette. He has a really good O-line that they just helped fix with Shaq Mason, one of the best defenses. Everything's in place for him, basically.
Yeah.
His legs don't help him anymore as much, but he'll probably still get a few touchdowns rushing it in at the goal line. That's just what he does. I'm not going to go too much more in depth that. You already covered stats. Yeah, I got him at 10. I don't like talking about him. I don't like him at all. So I don't want to go too in depth. Tom Brady's number 10. Number 9. Same as you, Dak Prescott. Okay.
Nice.
I have Dak for the exact same reasons you said. So I'm just going to run that down real quick. No Amari. Michael Gallup is the number 2, but he might not play week 1. Dalton Schultz, he elevates in tight end rankings. And CeeDee Lamb is great. But CeeDee Lamb is the very clear number 1. Defenses will focus on locking him down. I think Dak struggles. It's been a year now, a whole season, let's say, since his horrific leg injury break against the Giants. So I think he will run a little bit more. Like you said, he was under 200 rushing yards. I think he goes maybe 300 rushing yards, a little bit more comfortable at the pocket, but nothing that I'm like, well, Lamar Jackson level. So, I do think he struggles, like you said. I think his numbers dip in every aspect. I got him at number 9. Number 8, Lamar Jackson. Okay, not number 14, number 8. Listen, I understand Hollywood leaving is a big hit on them. I get that. I just don't like his consistency. Don't know if it's the Ravens system. Like I said, I think it is. I also think it is. I like Hollywood Brown. I do.
Yeah.
So I hope he proves his talent in Arizona. I just got to say, so far, he's been a disappointment because, in my opinion, the system in Baltimore. So because of that, I also don't think losing Hollywood Brown is such a big deal for the Ravens. They are a run-first team. They have Mark Andrews. I don't care that Mark Andrews is the number 1 clear guy. They can't double him. They can't stop him. Mark Andrews will get his touchdowns. Mark Andrews will get his 1,000 yards. He was number 1 for you. He's number 2 for me for a reason. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Lamar reaches MVP levels like he did 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think he definitely improves from last season. I think he kind of goes back to 2020 Lamar Jackson. I just got him at 8. I think he improves in the passing numbers and the rushing numbers because he was hurt a few times last season. So
yeah,
a fully healthy Lamar Jackson could get up there again. Number 7, Russell Wilson.
Oh,
at one moment I had him in the top 5. Okay, but then I came back to earth and I was like, let's slow it down a little bit. As pretty as it sounds, like you said, again, I'm not gonna go too in depth with it because you already said it. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, and I guess what many people are saying the breakout candidate, the tight end Albert O. great team, great offensive pieces around him. Probably better than what he had in Seattle the last few years.
Yeah.
But it's his first year. It's a new system. Let him get used to it. Okay. I know Russ is a special talent. He's one of the best quarterbacks of the generation. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. That doesn't mean he's not going to struggle the first year. Probably. I think he does. Okay.
I don't know.
I don't think he struggles to a point where he sucks. Don't get me wrong. I think he struggles to a point where he's number 7 is what I'm saying. Okay. I had him in the top 5, but then I was like, okay, all right. He's not going to go off that hot right away. I have him at 7. Okay. I have him at 7. The stats that you mentioned, right? We also got to keep in mind last season, he got hurt in the middle of the season. He broke his thumb. Couldn't play for a while. So that also impacted his numbers. And then when he came back, he was trying to force that ball too much. And it could be the thumb. I don't know, but he was looking a little off.
Yeah.
Denver, fully healthy. I think he improves, but I got him at 7. Okay. I wish he would be in top 5, but I got him at 7.
Fair enough. Just one off from mine.
And number 6, Jalen Hurts.
Ooh.
Jalen Hurts is a very, very good fantasy quarterback. Real life, he's yet to like really make you fall in love. But for fantasy, the kid's a monster. Okay, looking at his numbers right now, completed 61.3% of his passes, only threw for 3,144 yards, only threw for 16 touchdowns, okay, and 9 picks. That shows you he's a run-heavy quarterback, like Lamar Jackson.
Right.
But he does have A.J. Brown now. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, a really good defense that they improved even more with the offseason and the draft. I think he takes a leap. I think he definitely breaks the 4,000 passing yards. I think he hits at least 4,000. The 16 touchdowns definitely go to at least 22, in my opinion. At least.
Yeah.
And his rushing yards are going to – his rushing yards last season, he had 784 rushing yards with 10 touchdowns. So he had 16 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns. Come on. The 784 rushing yards, I think it drops a little because he doesn't have to run as much now. I think he goes to like 650, 700. The 10 rushing touchdowns, I would put it like at 7 or 8, just because I feel like, again, he's not going to have to run so much. Not going to have to. They might design it, but there's been times last season where he had nothing open. He's like, I'm going to have to run. You know, so I got him at 6, just outside the top 5. Wouldn't shock me if he hits the top 5 in fantasy, because let's be real life quarterback, he's nowhere near a top 5 quarterback. But for fantasy purposes, he is. Not to mention, he has an okay schedule. 3 out of 5 stars in terms of strength of schedule. I got him in 6 for that reason. Let's go into the top 5. Now, there's been shocks on both ends. I've been shocked 2 to 3 times, I would say. Definitely 2 times with Lamar and Mahomes. Maybe one more in there in your first 10 quarterbacks. I don't know how many times you felt shocked with mine, but
for sure, Stafford.
Stafford shocked you because I assume Stafford's in your top 5 now. But let's see in what order. So kick us off. What's your top 5? Let's see it.
All right. So I have on number 5, Matthew Stafford. So I see he was last year's number 5 quarterback.
Yep.
I see him doing that again. I feel like, you know, what you were talking about, you know, half of those 4,800 yards that he had, half of those were for Cooper Kupp. I feel like they're going to do that again. I feel like there's no stopping Cooper Kupp. Right now, he is in his prime. I wouldn't be surprised if those numbers go up. All right. And you know what? I see those numbers being the same thing as last season. He had 42 passing touchdowns. Now, I have him here because I'm including OBJ signing with them. As much as I would love for him to sign with the Giants, like I said in a previous episode, I feel like he's going to re-sign with the Rams. I feel like that is a no-brainer. Allen Robinson down one side, Cooper Kupp in the slot, and then you have him on the other side. I feel like that'll be great for him. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question, though, before you continue. OBJ doesn't sign with them. He signs with another team. It's Matthew Stafford 5.
No. Nope. I have him. I'll probably put Mahomes from 6 to 5. I'll probably just switch him. I'll probably even put Burrow to 6 as well. But anyway,
but
as of right now, I
in
feel
your
like,
mind, OBJ's there. Okay.
OBJ is there, and so I have him at number 5. I feel like, you know, those 42 passing touchdowns that he had last season, I could see him going between 40 and 45 again. And the 48 passing yards that he has, if OBJ does sign, I see him going over 5,000. Okay, because you have amazing wide receivers. And not just that, but you have finally a healthy running back in Cam Akers. Okay. Last season, I feel like he was being a little bit inconsistent. And when I say he, I mean Matthew Stafford. Why? Because like you said, the running back situation wasn't being so consistent. It was just constantly filled with injuries. Akers, they were just trying to get him back. I feel like now that he had a full off season and he's ready to go, I feel like they're going to be leaning on him more. And what does that mean? More opportunity. He gets to stay on the field a little bit more throws, more yards, more touchdowns. So that's what I think. So that's why I have him at number 5. And number 4, I have Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Yes.
Not mad.
Yes, he's not, in real life, he's not a fantastic quarterback, definitely not top 5. So he's barely top 10, right, in real life. But in fantasy, now with the addition of AJ Brown, he was already a top 5 quarterback without AJ Brown. Okay,
fantasy, of course, fantasy.
Yes, fantasy, which is why I feel like that was my second shock with you having him outside your top 5, because I was like, there's no way.
Listen, it was very tight for me. I'll just say that it was very tight for me. But
so last season he had 16 passing touchdowns, like you said, but I feel like those numbers will easily go over 20 with AJ Brown there.
I think so too. Yeah.
His rushing yards. I think his rushing yards might go up a little bit. Actually, from the 782 rushing yards that he had, I feel like he could get 800. I really do.
I mean, number one, I think he could. I think he could hit 1,000 if he wanted to. I'm just saying, I don't know if he will, because how much do you really want to place your quarterback? Last season, he got hurt at the end. In the playoffs, he was bad with his ankle. Why? Because he was running so much. Do you want to put him through that again? Why do you think they traded for AJ Brown? I don't know.
Yeah, but you got to remember also, their running backs isn't that great. Yeah, you got Miles Sanders, who is begging for the ball. He is begging for the ball. He is trying to convince everybody, look, if you put me in, I'm going to kill it. Nobody's convinced. Nobody's going to take his word for it.
Not yet, no.
You have a quarterback that can run, so you're going to utilize that. You have a defense that you're going to be able to stretch that defense out more. Why? Because you're going to be able to focus more on AJ Brown. What does that lead to you? More opportunity for you to run. Okay, more green in front of you. Yeah. Okay, so I feel like he'll be able to get to 800 to 800 rushing yards. And it just overall, I feel like everything would just, like you said, easy schedule for him. And so obviously with AJ Brown being there, I feel like him at number 4 is a perfect fit for me. And number 3, I have Kyler Murray. Okay, so in 2020, he had 819 rushing yards. Okay. However, last year, he got pretty much cut in half to 423 rushing yards. Okay. He had 24 passing touchdowns last season. And now he has Hollywood. Okay. Not just Hollywood. Yeah, we said he was very inconsistent. He hasn't really shown much, but I feel like he's really going to come in his own. Why? Because he is being reconnected with his college quarterback.
Agreed.
Okay. The same thing with Kyler. He's going to be reconnected with his college wide receiver. When he first came into the team with the Cardinals, you had a Larry Fitzgerald who was very old. Yeah, the leader, the captain, but he couldn't really produce anything.
Past his prime.
Exactly, past his prime. You have DeAndre Hopkins now suspended for 6 weeks. Okay, so you're going to have to lean on Hollywood. I feel like the chemistry is going to be there, probably not the first 2 games. So you're going to have to lean heavy on James Conner and Ertz. But once Nuke comes back and that chemistry is there with Hollywood, and then you have Ertz and then James Conner, and then not just, forget about James Conner. Let's say you have no running back. You could run it yourself. I think he's going to go over 500 rushing yards. I think those 24 passing touchdowns will easily go over 30. So that's why I have him at 3. At number 2, I have Justin Herbert. Okay. 2 seasons ago in 2020, he had 31 passing touchdowns. Okay. Last season, he had 38 passing touchdowns. I feel like this season, he's going to easily go over 40, possibly 45.
I agree.
Easy. Okay. I feel like last season, he went over 5,000 passing yards. I feel like he's going to do that again this season. Why? Because they have such a, with the pickup of Khalil Mack, their defense got so much better that their defense is going to have so many more turnovers. They're going to be putting the offense in a better position to score, that it's just going to come easy for Justin Herbert. You know what I mean? It's going to be so easy for him.
I can see that.
And so the only reason he's at my number 2 is because his rushing capability is not there, which is why, he could rush, but nowhere near my number 1. And I think it is no secret. My number 1 is the same guy who was number 1 last season, Josh Allen. Okay. I feel like that's literally the only thing that is separating them, their rushing ability. Okay. So in 2020, Josh Allen had 37 passing touchdowns. Okay. Last year, he had pretty much the same thing, 36 passing touchdowns. Okay. And he had 4,400 yards, passing yards. I'm sorry. He had 763 rushing yards. Okay. I feel like he's going to have not just him, but the whole Bills team as a whole, they have a chip on their shoulder. Okay. Yeah. Especially after what happened with Kansas City. I feel like they're going to go out there and they're really going to showcase the whole season from week 1 to the very last week, why they deserve to be the best team, why they know they can beat Kansas City, and why they know that they deserve to be in the Super Bowl. So I feel like that's definitely going to play a big role. His rushing ability is still going to be there. Why? Yeah. Their running backs aren't really that great. Yeah, they got a new rookie who's making a lot of noise.
Cook, right?
Yeah, Cook. But it's
brother.
like, you can't really say anything until you actually see him play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Regardless, their best running back is Josh Allen. Yeah. Okay. So again, if it's not broke, why fix it? Right. So I feel like he's gonna end up being number 1 again. Stephon Diggs is gonna be as consistent as ever. Gabriel Davis is coming into his own, right? He's finding himself a nice spot in this team. And then you have Knox. Okay. And if Knox goes down injured like he did last season a couple of times, you have OG Howard behind him, who's also another big body tight end.
Yep.
So I feel like for me it's a no-brainer. Josh Allen at number 1.
Interesting. Okay, the top 5 is a little bit more, not even more similar, but the top 5 doesn't shock me as much, I'll say.
Okay.
I'm not, like I said, the Jalen Hurts thing, like I'm not shocked at it. I would say I like, there's one shock. Stafford at 5 is still to me a little bit too high. I love the guy. Again, I'm gonna say it again. I love the guy.
Believe you have a
knock on him.
You have him outside the top 10.
I just think this is the year that the age gets to him. The age gets to him. They downgraded on their O-line. OBJ's not there officially. I don't know. I just don't see him being as good. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he cracks the top 10, but I just see him right outside of it. But let's get into our top 5. My top 5. Number 5, Joe Burrow. Ooh. Love the kid. Also become one of my favorite quarterbacks. That confidence, everything about him. Yeah, everything about him is just so good. I love the kid. The reason why I pushed him up, I understand you're worried for Ja'Marr Chase being covered and teams reading him. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I'll tell you why. Every year we get a talent like this where we think, well, it's 1 year. They're going to lock him down next year. Ja'Marr Chase, Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson killed the rookie year. They're like, oh, second year, he's going to take a dip. He took no dip at all. Justin Jefferson still killed it with what I consider a worse quarterback. Not saying Kirk Cousins is bad because he's not, but he's not Joe Burrow. Okay. Now, let's play that role. Let's say they do lock down Ja'Marr Chase. He still has T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd to throw the ball to. T. Higgins, in my opinion, is one of the best number 2s in the league.
Yeah.
Anybody would want him as their number 1. That's how good T. Higgins is. Behind him, you have Joe Mixon. In front of him, you have fixed what I believe was their weakness, the reason why they lost the Super Bowl. That O-line. That O-line was terrible last year. In the Super Bowl, I don't want to be wrong. I don't think it was the fourth quarter, but I know in the entire second half, he was sacked like 8 to 9 times.
Yeah.
That's not right. I don't care how good the Rams defense is. That should not happen. Yep. They fixed that. They went all out. They fixed that O-line. They kept the receiving core. I just think Joe Burrow stays in the top 5. You know, if he goes down, I could see him maybe like a 6, but he's going to be there. He's going to be in the top 7. To me, top 5.
I hope he is. I hope I'm wrong in this situation.
I think he will be. I think he's too good. Not to mention he has 2 out of 5 stars for his strength of schedule, meaning it's super easy. Like, come on. But we move on to number 4. Kyler Murray is my number 4.
Okay.
I think, going back to what we said about Hollywood, I think this is the perfect fit for Hollywood. Okay. The Cardinals are a balanced team. They run, but they also throw. They're a little bit more balanced in that sense. And like you said, no D-Hop for the first 6 weeks. He is the guy the first 6 weeks. He's comfortable with the quarterback. They know each other from college. It's a better system. They're going to throw the ball more. I don't see Hollywood not being good in that system. And that's going to help Kyler. You know, the first 6 weeks, he's not going to have D-Hop, sure, but he has his old college teammate. Okay. And then you have Zach Ertz. Like you said, they also have James Conner. these names aren't as big anymore, but they also have AJ Green, who, yes, also past his prime, but he could do the job. Rondale Moore, who everybody's expecting a breakout season from. And then after that, you get D-Hop back. I think Kyler Murray, passing wise, will improve. Rushing wise, I mean, that's just his bread and butter. Like you said, he had 3,787 yards throwing. I see him passing 4,000 passing yards. I definitely see him going past 4,000 passing yards. 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, easily hitting 30 touchdowns in my opinion. Rushing yards, 423. I also agree with you. I think he goes up and he goes to 500. I just don't see how he dips.
Yeah.
Number 3, and I'll say this: my number 3 and my number 2 was very, very hard to do. But at the end of the day, I went with number 3.
This is gonna be a shock for me.
It is. Number 3, I have Justin Herbert.
What?
I know.
There's no way.
Number 3, Justin Herbert, for one reason. I love the kid. He's arguably my second favorite quarterback in the league. But I just feel like this team got so much more balanced that he's not going to need to throw the ball so much. What I mean by that is last season, their weakness in a way was the defense.
Okay.
That offense was in shootouts most games, and they had to keep throwing to stay alive. Like you said, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, healthy Derwin James, obviously Joey Bosa there, a young core in the linebacker position. That defense is going to settle down. It's going to be better, and they're going to keep them in games a little bit more comfortably. Justin Herbert last season, 5,014 yards. I think he still hits 5,000, maybe right on the cusp, maybe a little bit below, but nothing crazy. 38 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. I could see him hitting 35 to 40 touchdowns again. Interceptions, who knows? Hopefully not more than the 15 that he had last season. Like you said, the rushing yards, only 302 rushing yards. Nothing crazy with the legs. He could produce, but nothing crazy. Only 3 touchdowns rushing. Austin Eckler's back there. He's going to take all that. Keenan Allen, phenomenal. Mike Williams finally had his year. Don't know if he's going to keep it up again. Yeah, I like what they have, but I just don't think he's going to need to be the guy that beats everybody else. He's going to be able to manage it the first 3 quarters, fourth quarter, take it easy. Let's run the ball. Our defense got it. So I think his production overall stays either the same or drops a little tiny bit, but nothing extreme that I'm like, he's out of my top 5. He's top 3 for sure. I had him at 2, but at the end of the day, I moved my guy to number 2, and I'll explain why. Patrick Mahomes. The reason why I have him at 2, I understand
that's way too high.
I'll tell you this. Listen to my logic. I understand your concerns, fam.
You were the one who said Hill does a lot of things here. He's the main reason on one of the episodes for when we were talking about trades.
Yeah.
And for you to have him at number 2 is insane.
I'll tell you why. Because if we go back to that episode, I told you it helps the Dolphins in a way. Because again, Tua is not that big of a deal. But it helps Tua and the Dolphins because, Tyreek Hill is a game breaker. He is. It affects Kansas City because it changes their style of play. But
it doesn't hurt.
Ever since then, I'll tell you why not. Ever since then, I've been analyzing it. And I'll tell you why the Tyreek Hill move now to me doesn't seem as bad for the Chiefs. Listen carefully. Patrick Mahomes, like you said, last season, looked inconsistent. He had some flaws. He made a lot of mistakes. At one point, he was leading the league with interceptions. He ended up with 13, didn't lead the league. Justin Herbert threw more than him. But he did do a lot of incomplete passes. Only 66%, which is phenomenal. Also more than Justin Herbert, but not Patrick Mahomes' level. As inconsistent as he looked, as sloppy as he looked, as much as they struggled, like you said, there's a reason for that, in my opinion, from what I've seen.
Okay.
Teams understood. Let them play the short ball. We're not letting them go deep. Why was Tyreek Hill so bad for us last season in our league? 1 week he'd go crazy with 100+ yards and a touchdown. The next week he'd only have like 30 yards. Why? Because they started double teaming him. They started putting a safety over the top. They're like, yo, if he's going to pick up 10-yard slants, fine. But he ain't hitting that deep ball. At the end of the season, why did Mahomes settle down again? Why did they get to I would say, a play call away from being again in the Super Bowl? Because they should have beat the Bengals. But one bad play call from Andy Reid cost them the Super Bowl, in my opinion. But besides the point, why did they get there? Because they realized we don't need to hit it so deep. Let's play it simple. Travis Kelce became bigger than Tyreek Hill. Why? Because they were hitting quick slants. They were still picking up first. Once you let them play, every team was like, let them play the slow ball, build up the field. We'll stop them. You couldn't stop them. You really couldn't. Patrick Mahomes still had almost 5,000 yards, 4,828 yards.
Yeah.
37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 381 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. Juju, like you said, Juju Smith-Schuster is a cleaner route runner. That's going to help them because I think the Chiefs are now changing their game plan to we don't need to hit long balls. We could methodically work our way up the field.
Yeah, but Mahomes is going to be Mahomes, and he's going to want to keep being flashy and throw it deep.
That's what everybody said last season when he was struggling. Andy Reid took that offense, adjusted it. What did Patrick Mahomes do? Patrick Mahomes adjusted his game style.
Keep struggling.
Nope. He kept slinging it down the middle. Easy pickups. Every once in a while, when he saw a deep ball, he would hit it. It's not his fault that Brian Pringle and Mecole Hardman can't catch a ball. But I think Juju in the slot, Sky Moore, who they've already been working for like the past month, which is great. Obviously, Travis Kelce. With those very nice, clean run routes, short to medium gains, going to help him open up the field for somebody who is not Tyreek Hill at all, but has speed and can stretch the field because of his length. MVS. I'm not saying MVS is going to reach Tyreek Hill level, not even close. But every once in a while, when he wants to hit a deep ball, give me MVS over Mecole Hardman or Pringle, because MVS is taller. He has better hands, as he's shown with Rodgers. How many times did Rodgers go Adams, boom, MVS?
Yeah.
So listen, I know it might be a little high for you and maybe for others, but I think Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback that he's not going to struggle 2 years in a row. That talent, he's not going to struggle 2 years in a row. That talent, that creativity, that coach, those players, they're not going to struggle again. I got him at number 2 confidently. Confidently, he's my number 2 quarterback. And not because I'm a fan.
Yeah, definitely because you're a fan.
Not because I'm a fan. I promise you that. Because listen, if this man was in the Giants, as good as he is, I wouldn't have him number 2.
Oh, he would be number 1 for me.
See, that's because you're a fan. But listen, again, I just don't see him struggling. I think he has 4,828 yards last season. I think he hits 5,000 plus. 37 touchdowns. He goes back to the 40 touchdown range. The 381 rushing yards, not a big deal. I think maybe he dips to 350, 300. But the 2 rushing touchdowns, like you said, CEH, not a big deal. Patrick Mahomes is a big guy. Patrick Mahomes could get at least 4 touchdowns, I would say. I think he improves. I think him and Justin Herbert, though, don't get me wrong, they're like right here. It's not like I'm saying Justin Herbert's 3, Mahomes 2. I'm saying like right here. That's why, like I said, that's why I had them. At one point, I was like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, when I really analyzed film and I started going back and seeing how they did at the end of the games, I see it as a different system. Yeah. I think Mahomes is ready for that system. If I get proven wrong, then I'll take it on the chin. Mahomes let me down, but I do think
that's going to be 2 things you're going to have to take on the chin: the Stafford move,
I don't know,
and the
man.
Mahomes move.
I don't think so. I'm confidently going Mahomes at 2, but
and the Lamar 3.
Lamar at 14. You're taking that on the chin. That's ridiculous. At number 1, though, neither one of these 2, Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes, neither one we're going to pass my number 1. Number 1, same as you, Josh Allen. There's no debate about that. Like,
yeah,
I love Patrick Mahomes. I love Justin Herbert. You could argue who's 2, who's 3. Josh Allen's number 1. It's clear. Okay. Just real quick off the stats again: 63.3% completion percentage, 4,407 yards, 36 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 763 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns. That's a ridiculous stat line. I think this season he hits 5,000 yards passing. I think he does. I hope 36 touchdowns. I could see him back to 35 to 40 as well. 763 yards.
That one's iffy. I know.
I was as well.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I know he can run. I know he's a big guy. I know he's built different, but you don't want to do it too much. At this point of his career, you don't want to keep pushing him, and then sad to say, I don't want him to become another Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Let him work his arm. He has an arm. Yes, he could run every once in a while. Do it when you have to. Focus on throwing. So the 763, I want to say it goes down, but it wouldn't shock me if it goes up. Wouldn't shock me if the Bills are like, well, we don't trust Cook. We don't trust Singletary. You go ahead and take it. But regardless, he's number 1. Bills are the best team probably. So I got him at number 1. Stephon Diggs is my guy. Gabriel David, like you said, growing into his own. Dawson Knox. A really good team. And yeah, but that was our top 15. We're gonna just run it down for you guys real quick. Jay, you want to kick us off, run it down 15-1, and then I'll do the same.
Yeah, for sure. So, to pretty much recap, at number 15, I have Matt Ryan. At number 14, I have Lamar Jackson. At number 13, I have Aaron Rodgers. At number 12, I have Kirk Cousins. At number 11, I have Tom Brady. At number 10, I have Derek Carr. At number 9, I have Dak Prescott. At number 8, I have Russell Wilson. At number 7, I have Joe Burrow. And at number 6, surprise, surprise, Patrick Mahomes. I have at number 5, Matthew Stafford. At number 4, Jalen Hurts. At number 3, Kyler Murray. At number 2, Herbert. And at number 1, Allen.
Nice. For me, at 15, I have Trey Lance. 14, Tua. 13, Derek Carr. 12, Aaron Rodgers. 11, Matthew Stafford. 10, Tom Brady. 9, Dak Prescott. 8, Lamar Jackson. 7, Russell Wilson. 6, Jalen Hurts. 5, Joe Burrow. 4, Kyler Murray. 3, Justin Herbert. 2, Patrick Mahomes. And number 1, Josh Allen. It's going to be very interesting to come back to this on December and then seeing, what we had right, what we had wrong. Because, look, at the beginning of the season, Trey Lance could be like number 1. Okay. And we'd be like, oh my God, what? And then season ends and he ends up like 30. So, it's a long game. Don't get one thing I will say for people that are drafting. If you agree with us, Josh Allen's number 1, but then Josh Allen the first 3 weeks, maybe he's like number 7. Relax, don't panic. It's a long season. You don't want to trade him away yet, because then when he ends up number 1, you'll be like, man.
Yeah.
So take it easy. What I would like to see is if anybody has any opinions, go ahead, hit us up in the comment section, DM us, whatever. Let us know what your top 15 is. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Maybe Jay's list, my list, both, whatever. We want to see you guys interact with us. Let's see what you guys got. Yep. But I think now that we finished with that, I think we should move on to the EOE.
Yeah, let's do it.
Over the weekend, on Saturday specifically, UFC 276 happened. You helped us with a couple fights that you predicted.
Yeah.
I will say it did not go as well as before. But hey, that's the thing about predicting.
I got my first couple L's.
Yes, and you're taking an educated guess. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. It is what it is. Nobody's perfect. But if you want to give us a quick little talk about what happened over the weekend, and we can move on afterwards.
For sure. Look, I feel like I did something wrong this weekend. That was kind of go with like my favorite fighters. Okay. And that's something that I didn't do the first 8 predictions that I did, that made me go 8-0. I feel like this time around, I was really playing favoritism. So with the Brad Tavares fight, he ended up losing bad. So that was all for 1. Then the O'Malley fight doesn't really count. I feel like he was winning the fight. He had control of the fight for sure. Yeah. For sure that was gonna get me, to 1 and 2. But sadly, apparently, well, not apparently, but he ended up poking Pedro Munoz's eye, and Munoz was like, "Look, I can't see anything out of his eye. All I see is black. I can't keep going on." I feel like he was gonna lose. It wasn't that bad. Again, looking at it in slow motion, it looked like it didn't really hurt. Mm-hmm. But when you look at it full speed, that's a different story. Yeah. So that fight doesn't count. Then you got the Robbie Lawler versus Barberena. I got that one right. Robbie Lawler got knocked out. I knew this was gonna happen. That his age. He has a weak chin now. Well, not a weak chin, but he's been through so many wars that his chin is just not the same as before. He was winning the fight. He had some good shots, but you got Barberena, who was coming out and also swinging, and one of those ended up connecting him right in the chin, and so he got knocked out. So that made me what? So we had 3 fights. We had 1, 2, 3. One of them doesn't count, so that made me 1 for 2. And then Holloway, I really thought Holloway was gonna get this W, but he got demolished. Listen, Volkanovski is on a different level. He already said he has no competition in his division, so he's going to go up and try to go against Charles Oliveira and get that title, which is going to be amazing if that does happen. So there was that one. I got that one wrong. It sucks having Holloway lose because that man is a legend. He's going to go down in the Hall of Fame, but just having him get dominated this way, it's sad. It really is. And for Adesanya, I had him winning, and he ended up winning. A lot of people might say that it was a boring fight, but sometimes a champion has to do what a champion has to do. Okay. If you see that the other guy isn't really attacking you, why are you gonna go and try to attack him and try and knock him out or try to submit him? He's the one who's trying to take your title from you. All right. So if you just have to do anything to just kind of you control the distance, you give him a couple hits, you fight the counter. If that's gonna work for you and win you the fight, then go for it. You know what I mean? Cannonier should have came in there a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more risky, but he said he was gonna do that, but it's something completely different saying it and actually going into the octagon and seeing the champion across from you. And so regardless, I ended up going 1, 2, 2 for 5. Well, O'Malley doesn't count, so 2 for 4. And then I ended up giving a bonus fight with Uriah Hall. Nope, he ended up losing. So that had me going 2 for 5, which in total brings me to 8, 10, and 5. God, from 8-0 to 10-5. That's so bad.
That's what could happen, man. Listen, it's just a prediction. You know your things, but you can never tell the future, So things happen. I'm
gonna redeem myself for sure.
I was gonna say you're probably gonna redeem yourself for the next one, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I will say this just real quick: the Adesanya fight. I was one of those that I thought the fight was boring, but I do agree with you. I think if I'm challenging you to something, I'm gonna try to take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm like, yo, give me your shirt, I'm gonna try to take that shirt off your back. I'm not just gonna expect you to be like,
right. I'm not gonna be.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I agree. I think Cannonier should have just gone in there and been like, I'm gonna try to hit you. I'm gonna try to. The worst.
Bro, and he has the power. This man has a one-punch knockout power.
What I've always said is like, as a contender, if you don't do nothing, you're gonna lose. The decision will always go to the champion.
Right.
What's the risk you have in going all out? I'm not saying go crazy and just swing. But I'm saying just go in there aggressive, change your game plan up, go in there, try to knock him out, try to put him down. He didn't, in my opinion, he really didn't try to put him down until like the last round.
Yeah,
he tried, and Adesanya was just like, this ain't happening.
Yeah.
So, and I would say this: as boring as it was, as defensive as it was, Adesanya still was in massive control, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
There was not one moment where I was like, "Oh my god, Cannonier might win." The whole time I was like, "Well, Adesanya won." Yep. So I will say it's boring not because of Adesanya, it's boring because of the contender. The contender has to go out, but it is what it is.
This just makes up a fight between Adesanya and so Adesanya's record is 23-1 now. Okay, after this weekend's fight, 23-1. He has one loss. The loss that he had was against Pereira, right? Yeah. Adesanya fought Pereira when they were in Glory. Okay, that's a different promotion besides UFC. All right.
Yeah.
He got knocked out cold by Alex Pereira. Okay. Now Alex Pereira is here in the UFC, and it seems like that's going to be the next fight because Adesanya has completely ran through the whole division. Yeah. He has nobody else to fight. And now that Alex Pereira is there, the only guy that has ever beaten Adesanya, that's the fight to make.
Yeah.
So let's see.
It's gonna be interesting if that ever happens. We, only time will tell, but we'll see what happens. Soccer, though. Soccer, the transfer market is starting to heat up. Now that technically it now officially opened July 1st is the first day for transfers. You could obviously make that before, but you can't register the player until July 1st. So now the transfer market is starting to heat up again. There's a couple things that I would like us to talk about regarding transfers. Last week we went into a couple of them. This week there's 3 real official transfers, and there's 2 rumors. So the first one I want to talk about is Calvin Phillips joins Man City.
Yes.
A defensive midfielder from England, played for Leeds United the season before, really, really good. He was a star in the Euros, and he joins Man City. As good as a signing as that is, I will say this. I don't understand it in the sense that who's he going to replace? He's not going to bench Rodri.
No.
Definitely not. He can't even play like him, like in that position, but he's not going to bench De Bruyne. And the other side, it's either Gundogan who might leave, Bernardo who wants to go to Barca, but I don't know if it'll happen. Do you think City plays with 2 6s? I don't think so.
I don't see that happening. So that's tough.
I don't know.
I feel like this time around, again, same thing. Money plays a huge role. It's like, look, we don't want anybody else to have this guy, especially in the BPL. You know what? He's young. He could be a future player for us, but as of right now, he's not. We're just gonna have him sit pretty, just as a little decoration. That's really it. And Phillips was like, okay.
They did the same thing last year with Grealish. They still haven't found a way to fit him in, and I don't know how they will now. Yep. And they spent so much money on him. Now Calvin Phillips again, like I said, name-wise, great signing. You know, he's a really good player, promising, young, but like I don't know, it just doesn't make too much sense for me right now. Unless Pep really plans on changing the system up, which I don't see Pep doing. It's weird for me. It's weird for me. Either he's gonna have to change the system or he's gonna have to change Phillips as a player. And let me tell you, changing the system is much easier. Much easier to change the system than a player. So I'm excited to see how it goes down. I want to see because I love Pep. I think he's a genius. Sometimes he does too much though. I will say that, but he is a genius. So I want to see if he makes it work. You know, that's the first thing. Number two, Barcelona. Oh, my club finally able to make moves. We're finally not completely out of the depth, but for the most part, and we have money to sign. We started off hot. You know, 2 free transfers have finally officially been confirmed. These are 2 transfers that were announced basically. Like everybody knew was happening in March. And here we are in July, and the club finally announced them. Franck Kessié comes on a free transfer from AC Milan. To me, a phenomenal sign, especially on the free. If he flops for us, we ain't paying nothing for him. If he's a star, we got him for free. You know what I mean? So it's a high, low risk, high reward. I love the signing. We also signed Christensen from Chelsea, also on a free. Not the biggest signing for me. I think Araujo has his spot locked down. The other side, I guess now it's between Eric Garcia, PK, and Christensen. Although there's rumors that we want to sign Koundé, who I would love. If we sign Koundé and we pair him with Araujo, thank you. So
I hope he doesn't go. I really hope he doesn't.
Yeah, Barca's rumors apparently are Koundé for the defense, Bernardo Silva for the midfield only if Frankie leaves, and up top obviously Lewandowski and Rafinha, the winger that we talked about being linked to Chelsea. It seemed like a signed deal, and now apparently Barca's like, whoa, hold on, let's get on the phone. They're starting to talk to Leeds. Rafinha's dream is to play for Barca, so he told Leeds, hey, slow down that transfer. Let's see if we can work something out with them. It's a whole saga, so let's see. Those are the 4 major signings we want to do. But now, the other day also, the president came out and said, we're not selling Frankie. I'm going to do everything possible to keep him.
Oh, my God. I hate that.
But he did say if he stays, he has to lower his salary to adjust to financial fair play. And then there was another report that came out that said Frankie doesn't want to lower his salary, but he wants to stay. So I don't know how this is going to end up. At this point, I love Frankie. I love Barca. But honestly, at this point, I'm getting tired of it. Find a solution. Lower your salary and stay, sell him and go.
Just leave.
Please just stop. It's so annoying.
Go to United.
If he goes to United, it seems like we're gonna go heavily after Bernardo Silva, which I mean I wouldn't be mad about, but I personally would rather keep Frankie.
Yeah.
I want to see a midfield of Frankie, Kessie, and Pedri. That's my dream. And then Gavi being the first sub. Oh, but we'll see what happens. You know, in terms of transfers for Barca, that's it. Real Madrid, your club hasn't really done anything after Rudiger and Tchouameni, which honestly I don't think they have to.
No.
And then the other one that's apparently confirmed, Phillips left the city, left Leeds United. His replacement, USA international Tyler Adams, a graduate from the New York Red Bull Soccer Academy, played for Leipzig, and now he's going to the BPL. I think that's a great signing for both parties. You know,
that is
Adams
really,
going to the Premier
really
League,
good.
And Leeds getting them. I think that's going to be a great signing. I really, really am excited to see how that plays out. You know, his coach is Jesse March, another American who coached him at Leipzig as well and Red Bulls. So
I think he's gonna be a star there because
I think
when you go from level of competition that you had in your team, Leipzig was a top level. They were producing. They have some great players, and then you go to Leeds. I feel like he's gonna go in there with the experience of having played in the Bundesliga, and he's gonna take that over there to Leeds. And honestly, he might become the captain. You never know.
I mean, he's the captain of the United States national team, so you know.
You never know.
Now there's only other 2 rumors. The main one is Ronaldo. You know, it's not a rumor. Like nobody has confirmed it, him or the club, but apparently he told United, if a good offer comes in, let me go. United insists that he's not for sale. United want to keep him, so I don't know how that's gonna end up. I will say this though: the rumors so far, clubs that are interested are Chelsea.
I know.
Which really, Ronaldo? You're really gonna do that? And the latest one, which I personally don't buy, I think it's quite frankly a lie, especially because the newspaper that released it is the newspaper in Madrid, El Diario AS.
Yeah,
they apparently said that Jorge Mendes, who's his agent, was in Barcelona, and he talked to Barca about the possibilities of Ronaldo coming. I don't believe that for a second because there's no shot. Ronaldo knows what he means to Madrid, and there's no shot he goes to Barca. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. But then again, I see that he's okay with going to Chelsea, and I'm like, do you not have loyalty? Like, what's going on?
Seriously.
So
I
don't know.
honestly, I don't see him going to Chelsea. I don't see him going to Barca.
Definitely don't see him going to
I feel
Barca.
like after so many years of playing Champions League football, dominating, being there, think about it. He's a record man, right? He likes chasing his records. If he doesn't go to the Champions League, that means it's very easy that other people obviously will be able to catch up to him in certain things. And they don't have to worry about anything because he's not going to be there. You know what I mean? But with that being said, I feel like he just has to take that L on the chin and he needs to stay with Man United. And I feel like if he stays there and they do a cup, maybe one, if they could get Frankie and maybe another player to come in, I feel like they could go be top 4, honestly, and make it to champions. I really do think so.
Or maybe forget top 4. Even if they miss it, they could win the Europa League and automatically qualify Champions League. And Ronaldo can say, I've won the Champions League and not the Europa League.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, I would see it as a challenge. Like, yes, I understand you're coming to, because he knows he's coming to the end of his career. And I get that. But the
thing is, he doesn't want to accept it. As much as I love him, he is my guy. He does not want to accept it.
And to me, that's the problem. Like, he doesn't want to accept it so bad that he's willing to take the heat, I guess you could say, from certain fans. Like, if he goes to Chelsea, United, I would say half of United fans will hate him. Half of them will be like, oh, it's okay, we understand.
No.
But half of them will hate him. Chelsea. I know he's not. If he comes to Barca, everyone in the world will hate him.
Yeah.
Okay. So the fact that he's okay with sacrificing that, like, it shows, like you said, he's not accepting that it's his age. He's coming to the end. Like, just take that challenge. See how it goes next year. But there's rumors. Like I said, he hasn't said anything. The club hasn't said anything. It's just supposedly something with sources.
Yeah.
We'll see how that one plays out. And the last one, there's one that I personally haven't heard of, but you brought it up today. You want to go ahead and let us know what it is?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the source. Apparently, Jude Bellingham is in talks with Liverpool, and I think that's great. I would love to see him there. Thiago is already he's already in his 30s, right?
Yeah.
All right. You got Henderson, who's already old as well. You got Milner, who's already old as well.
Yeah.
You got to start looking for younger midfield players. And what better than to go to an English player, right? You got City, who got Phillips, who's English. Why not get Jude Bellingham? He would be amazing for us. Agreed. Amazing. And so if the rumors are true, I really hope he does end up signing with us because I think that'll be great.
I agree. I think it could be a great signing. The only reason why I don't think it'll happen is because I doubt Dortmund loses their 2 stars in one window. They already lost Haaland. Now they're going to lose Bellingham. Don't get me wrong. True. Dortmund is the type of team that could replace them like that. But I don't know. If he does go to Liverpool, though, I wouldn't be mad at it. I think that's going to be a great signing. And it's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to see him challenge himself in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm still a little iffy on it. I don't think Dortmund will do that. It's still early in the window, though. So if it's going down right now, that gives Dortmund time to find a replacement, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
But apart from that, there's not much else for me on the EOE. I don't know if you have anything else you want to say.
No, I got nothing else. I'm all good. I said what I needed to say.
All right. Well, the only thing I want to remind you guys about is our fantasy league. Okay, we are definitely doing one for sure, including ourselves. We have 9 slots filled up. There's only 3 slots left. So you guys want to act on that quick. If you want to join the league, you guys already know what to do. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Send us a DM. Send us an email. And you guys will be in. Other than that, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, man. Sounds good.
Hope you guys enjoyed our top 15. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And we will see you guys next week.
Peace.